It's a secretive practice that originates a long way away from the south of England.
So we know we're having a boy, is that right?
Yes, nervous.
Okay, so what are you nervous about?
And yet here in Berkshire, midwife Jamie Karoma is dealing with a problem you wouldn't expect to find affecting communities in the UK.
You cannot never talk about it. If you do talk about it, it's a taboo. There's an oath that you have to swear that if you do talk about it, something would happen to you. You would die, your entire family would die. So we've got the normal anatomy, looks like, with legs apart. In the type 1, you've got the clitoris taken away.
She's talking about female circumcision, known more widely as female genital mutilation, or FGM. It's an age-old ritual practiced often illegally in 28 countries in Africa and some in the Middle East and Asia.
Even your mum or sisters, even though you know they've actually been mutilated as well, it's not a topic for discussion at all. Never.
FGM is outlawed in the UK and has been for 30 years, but it still goes on, and the survivors of it are living amongst us all. The World Health Organization estimates 3 million girls every year undergo some form of female genital mutilation, or FGM, in Africa alone. It says the practice has devastating physical, psychological, and social consequences for women and girls. And as a midwife at the Royal Berkshire Hospital, Jamie sees that here. Mothers and daughters suffering health problems because they've had FGM, and many still frightened to speak out. Growing up in Sierra Leone, at 10 years old, it happened to Jamie too.
My grandma actually said to me, "You're gonna go and get initiated and be like everybody else." So I was excited, I was looking forward to it, and I asked, "Oh, what are the clothes you've got to me and the shoes and things like that?" You know, as a child, those are the little things that you're actually more interested in. And you get waken up first by the singing and chanting outside. I was blindfolded, so a piece of cloth was obviously wrapped up and then put over my face and tied up. And I was told, "You need to lie down, we need to check you." Laid down, people holding my legs and my arms, and I was held down whilst I was mutilated at that point in time. So I just felt something really, really sharp going through my skin and taking away my clitoris. I felt I was gonna die. Immediately after the whole procedure, you're told that this is what makes you a woman. So you start to accept it. And this is what makes you to be who you are and wanting to belong to this community. You accept it and move on.
In spite of it being illegal, BBC Inside Out has discovered some hospitals are now seeing a growing number of patients identified as having undergone FGM.
Sometimes they come across antenatally and still tell you, "No, I haven't been mutilated," and they just dismiss the discussion. They come into labour, and that's when you find out.
The Royal Berkshire's antenatal services saw 30 women with FGM last year. There were 42 at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, and similar numbers in Southampton and at Familial Health NHS Trust. We found many hospitals saw more cases than the year before. Tragically, it's believed some young girls born in the UK are taken abroad to be subjected to FGM. Cecilia, who lives in the south of England, asked to talk to us anonymously, so we've changed her name. She also comes from Sierra Leone, where around 90% of girls are circumcised.
If your child doesn't be part of that society, it's like you don't belong to that group. So you've been forced. There is no way you can say no.
Cecilia was determined her own daughter wouldn't have it done, but her family believed it was the right thing to do.
My first child, when they want her to be part of it, I disagree. The whole family go at me. Nobody could back me to say, "No, I don't want my child to be part of it," because it's like a family thing.
Cecilia tells me her daughter underwent FGM aged 7, along with her cousins on a family visit home.
I was paralyzed. All my body was, oh my God. When I see that state, all the girls lying on the floor with all blood stain, oh my God. I say, my God, it's terrible, terrible.
It's believed the practice even takes place in the UK, with older women coming into the country to perform the operation in secret. It's often done with no anaesthetic. Many women experience health problems for the rest of their lives. Another woman told me her daughter is at risk of undergoing FGM back home with family in Somalia. And like Cecilia, there may be little she can do to prevent it happening.
I'm afraid for her. I worry a lot about her. My daughters are mine, so I don't want to circumcise them. It is a bad tradition. I don't want my girls to go through difficulties.
It's difficult to know the true number of women in the UK who still practice FGM. A unique piece of research was carried out in Portsmouth and Southampton by the Southern Domestic Abuse Service and Portsmouth University. More than 50 local women from countries practicing FGM were interviewed.
If I have a daughter, I will put her through it because it is part of our cultural identity.
Many did want FGM to stop, but some still supported it. These are their words.
It's part of a girl's initiation process. The government should leave us in peace.
Women who are circumcised can be faithful. Others who are not cannot handle themselves.
They will never bring anyone to justice because they don't have a clue where and who operates it.
We are Africans and our rights and practices should be respected.
The part of the medical complications,
Suhaiba Mohammed, a presenter on the BBC's Somali service, says she understands why mothers can face an agonising decision over whether to have their daughters circumcised.
It is a very difficult thing, very problematic, and also it's a pain that will never disappear. I have girls, I have 3 girls, though I am against it and I don't like it and it causes me a lot of problem. I'm also thinking about they have to undergo it. I have to circumcise them. But what will happen to my daughters? That's what I'm thinking. What will happen to them if I don't do it?
I think it's one of those things that have grown through tradition, culture and tradition, that unless a woman is subjected to this practice, then she would not be faithful in a marriage. And as such, parents wanting their daughters to be married or remain married, or even for men to betroth them, would want to put their daughters through the practice.
To also help for prevention as well.
Patience Manhovo has been employed in a new role to tackle FGM in Southampton and Portsmouth. She helps educate women and says unless myths about FGM can be challenged, the next generation will be at risk.
There is normally a cutting season for FGM, which would be usually in this country is during the summer holidays, when girls are most likely to be taken out of the country to, countries of origin, whereby this practice is still going on. And so it's during that time when girls are more likely to be at risk.
Our investigation revealed that 16 cases of girls under 18 who are victims of FGM have been reported to Thames Valley Police. But there may be many more that never come to the attention of authorities.
Mothers would not normally have the last say in what happens to their children. A child belongs to the whole community. They do not belong to a single family, and so the pressure could come from the whole community itself. So that would limit the mother's chances of protecting her daughter from FGM.
For now, we'll be getting more men to the meetings.
Victor, a community worker in Reading, tells me he wants more men to help end FGM.
The starting point, as with any cultural challenge, is, you're challenging our culture and tradition, which is, we've practiced for years, it's good for us, why are you bringing it out into the open? It's something that men are not allowed to talk about. Men don't ask questions about, they don't engage in it. If a new breed of men starts challenging from an informed point of view, I think with time we'll be able to make that breakthrough.
No matter how terrible the practice may sound, it's clear it's impossible to stop FGM overnight. Women brave enough to confront the taboo are gradually changing attitudes. But until those beliefs become more widely accepted, young girls in the South will continue to be at risk.